So, dear learners, I would like to welcome you all to this lecture on public distribution system. So, this is part of our MOOC course on agricultural economics. So, this is the first unit of our module 11, that is public distribution system, and the name of our unit is Introduction to Public Distribution System. So, in this unit or in this lecture, basically what we will try to capture, what public distribution system is all about, and what are the purpose it serves, what are its objectives, why is it there is a need to strong or robust public distribution system in a country like India. So those issues will be discussed in this lecture. When we're discussing about public distribution system, it is necessary to know what it is all about. So public distribution system is a government-led initiative designed to provide essential commodities to the economically weaker section of the society at a subsidized prices. Why it is necessary? Because if you consider a country like India, or for that matter the other underdeveloped countries, a significant portion of the people are living below the poverty line. So as a result, they are not able to afford the basic necessities of life, for example, food, clothing, shelter, whatever it may be. Now, it is for a welfare state like India, it is a part of the responsibility of the government to provide at least the essential commodities to those section of the people who cannot afford them because of their low purchasing power. So that is why public distribution system will serve that purpose. So that is why it says that it serves as an essential component of India's food security system, and it plays a crucial role in poverty alleviation. So it has a huge role to play to or bring the people above the poverty line, particularly in a country like India. So under this system, what the administration do, they distribute commodities such as rice, wheat, sugar, and kerosene through a network of fair price shop, commonly known as ration shop. So these are the designated shop where the people who have that ration card, they can purchase those commodity as a subsidized rate from those ration shop. So that is why the objective of public distribution system is to ensure the availability of essential food items to the poor at affordable prices, thereby preventing hunger and malnutrition in the country. So that is why public distribution has to play a very big role in reducing hunger and eliminating malnutrition in a country like India. Now, if you see the evolution of public distribution system in India, then what we have to discuss, that public distribution system in India has undergone several transformations over the years. So it was initially introduced as a rationing system during World War II in the 1940s to manage the food shortage and as well as to ensure equitable distribution of available food grains. So that is why from its inception itself, the main purpose of public distribution system is to reduce the shortages of food, that means supply the essential food, and so that it can make or it can ensure distribution of available food grains in an equitable manner. So that system continued after independence also, because there is a post-independence, the government of India recognized the need for a structured public distribution system to ensure food security. And that is why public distribution system become an essential policy tool for any kind of policy in India. If you see economic planning, if you see any kind of planning, then you will see the public distribution system is an indispensable part of any kind of planning in India, because India is a country still having significant portion of the people are living below the poverty line. They are suffering from both absolute as well as relative poverty. Now, in the 1960s, what happened? During the Green Revolution, India witnessed a significant increase in agricultural production, and government expanded public distribution system as a part of its food security strategy. So I think for the learners, for economics, we all know about Green Revolution. Green Revolution is basically a system of adoption of modern technology in agriculture in terms of sophisticated food grains, in terms of sophisticated seed, in terms of use of insecticide, pesticide, so that we can ensure food security for a larger section of the people. Now, in by the 1970s, what happened? Public distribution system became a universal scheme, providing subsidized food grains to all citizens, irrespective of their economic status. This is possible because of the Green Revolution. Because before, if you see the production of food grains before Green Revolution and after Green Revolution, you will see a sudden jump in the production of food grains. That means India becomes self-sufficient in the production of food grains. That gives the government the liberty to providing subsidized food grains to all citizens, irrespective of their economic status. However, the system of providing food security or providing subsidized food to all citizens was criticized for its inefficiency, because it is criticized that there is no need to provide subsidized food to people who are living above the poverty line, or you can say whose economic status is quite sufficient enough to purchase those goods at market rate. Another important criticism raised against the public distribution system in 1970s is that if you see the literature, there is an urban bias. Urban bias, that means uh, at the expense of the rural poor. And another criticism of public distribution system in the 1970s or 60s, it said that it fails to target the neediest section of the society. That means it is not kind of a targeted kind of thing. So that is why it is always what the policymakers believe, that instead of having it a general kind of, it should be targeted kind of thing, where we can target the specific section of the people, the neediest section of the people, so that we can provide those people with essential food grains. Now, in 1992, what happened? The government of India introduced a revamped public distribution system to improve the food access in backward and remote areas, because these are the areas which are considered to be the neglected areas, and for eliminating regional imbalances, or for that matter you can say personal imbalances also, there is a need to uh, make available food gains to particularly to backward and remote areas. But the problem is that however, recognizing the need for a more targeted approach, government has to develop some kind of strategy. So that is why the government launched the targeted public distribution system in 1997, which divided beneficiaries into two categories. One, below poverty line, which is we all know BPL in short form. We say it, we call it as a BPL, and above poverty line, APL. That is to segregate the people on the basis of segregate people on two categories. One is below poverty line, and one is above poverty line. Now, the targeted public distribution system was aimed at to directing more substantial subsidies to the poor while reducing benefit to those above the poverty line, so that we can bring some kind of equality between the poor and rich section of the society, or you can say poor and non-poor section of the society, so that more subsidy can be provided to the people who are considered to be the most neediest. Now, the most significant reform in public distribution system came in the year 2013 with the enactment of the National Food Security Act. So what National Food Security Act? The National Food Security Act was considered to be significant because it made access to subsidized food grains a legal entitlement for priority household, and introduced a uniform entitlement structure across states. So that is why it is considered to be a landmark development, or you can say significant development, because it will make the National Food Security Act made it compulsory for the government to provide subsidized food grains, or as well as it considered as a legal entitlement for priority household to seek subsidized food. Now, if you see the functioning of public distribution system, then public distribution system operates through a multi-tiered mechanism that involve various government and private agencies. If you consider, for example, India, now we are discussing about India. India is a big country having a huge population. Now, and a major significant portion of the people are still below the poverty line. And that is why our public distribution system should be strong enough, and it should be robust enough, so that you can distribute the food grains to the needy people. So that is why we need to develop a network of different governmental and private agencies. Now, if you see the process begins with the procurement of food grains, which is primarily done by the Food Corporation of India and state agencies. So this is the first steps of public distribution system, or this is the first steps of the operation of public distribution system. Now, what the government do? Government procures the food grains from farmers at a minimum support price, which is known as MSP, to encourage agricultural production and ensure fair compensation for farmers. Now, it will serve two purposes. Now, what government, through Food Corporation of India, they are ensuring that the farmers also gain a minimum support price for their production, and as well as the procured commodities, when you distribute among the masses, then the people who are living below the poverty line, they are able to get the food grains at a subsidized rate. Now, once government procured those essential commodities, the food grains are stored in warehouses, so that because most of the food grains are some kind of perishable kind of thing, so so it is necessary to keep those food grains in warehouses which is basically managed by Food Corporation of India and other state agencies. Now, what happened? These stocks which are kept in the warehouses are then allocated to various states and union territories based on factors such as population size, poverty levels, and previous consumption pattern. So these are basically the criteria, previous consumption pattern, what is the level of poverty, what is the size of the population. So those are the factors on the basis of which those procured foods are distributed among different states and union territories. Now, what happened? The last step, the states in turn distribute those food grains to fair price shops, commonly known as ration shops, which I already mentioned in my introduction. So which are basically run by private dealers, cooperative, self-help groups, and other local bodies. Now, what the ration card holders can do? Ration card holders can purchase the subsidized food grains from this fair price shop based on their entitlement under the National Food Security Act. So that is why, who are the ration card holders? Ration card holders means people who are living below the poverty line. So those people who are living below the poverty line, government made access of ration card to those people, and those ration card holders can purchase the subsidized food grains from the fair price shops, which are basically run by private dealers, cooperative, self-help group, etc. Now, what happened? Under the National Food Security Act, which was enacted in 2013, the public distribution system provided or provides food grains to beneficiaries under two categories. What are those two categories? One is priority household and second one is Antodaya Anna Yojana. Now, among the below poverty line, they have made two categories. One is priority household and one is Antodaya Anna Yojana. Now, under priority household, each person belonging to a priority household is entitled to 5 kg of food grains per month at subsidized rate. Now, under Antodaya Anna Yojana, which is considered to be the poorest of the poorest families identified under the schemes are entitled to 35 kg of food grains per household per month at highly subsidized prices. So that is why under the National Food Security Act, they have made two segregation, that is priority household and Antodaya Anna Yojana. The central and state government, what they basically do, they share responsibilities in managing the public distribution system. And if you consider the example of India is a federal state where revenue sources and expenditure responsibilities and other responsibilities are divided between the central government and the state government. So that is why from procurement to the distribution of food grains to the needy people, it is a joint responsibility of both the central and the respective state government. Now, while the central government is responsible for food grain procurement, storage, and transportation to the state government handle the identification of the beneficiaries, issuing of ration card, and actual distribution through fair price shop. Now, after discussing the evolution of public distribution system, now we are in a position to discuss what is the structure and functioning of the public distribution system, how it basically works. So as I have already mentioned, the public distribution system operates through a multi-tiered mechanism that involves various governmental and private agencies. Now the process begins with the procurement of food grains, which is primarily done by the Food Corporation of India and state agencies. Now, what the government will do, the government procure food grains for the farmers at minimum support prices to encourage agricultural production as well as to ensure fair compensation for the farmers, which I have already mentioned. So once procured, the food grains are stored in warehouses so that it can be kept for a longer term. So managed by the Food Corporation of India and other state agencies. After that, these stocks are then allocated to various states and union territories based on factors such as population size, poverty level, and previous consumption, which I have already mentioned. Now, after discussing the structure and functioning of public distribution system, we are in a position to discuss what are the challenges of public distribution system. Obviously, any kind of system has to face some kind of challenges for proper functioning. And until and unless we recognize or we identify, we diagnose those challenges, it is not possible to have an effective public distribution system. So that is why it said that despite being one of the world's largest food distribution program, that is a public distribution system in India, faced several challenges over the years. So one of the major problems is the leakages and diversion of food grains. Why it is happening? Because corruption and inefficiency have resulted in large-scale diversion of food grains meant for poor into open market. This is a very sorry state of affairs for public distribution system in India. So many dishonest fair price shop dealers, what they do, they engage in malpractices such as selling subsidized grains at higher prices or replacing good quality grains with inferior ones. So another issue is presence of fake and ghost ration card. That means fake ration card, which results in subsidies being misdirected. So many undeserving individuals manage to obtain ration card, to depriving genuine beneficiaries of their rightful share. Because the whole purpose of public distribution system is to bring those people who are living below the poverty line to the so that we can bring those people above the poverty line. But due to those challenges such as leakages and diversion of food grains, presence of fake ration card, uh, the process become slightly ineffective to serve its purpose. So another important challenge of public distribution system is poor shortage and wastage of food grains. It is also considered to be a significant concern due to inadequate warehousing facilities. A considerable portion of the food procured by the government get wasted because of pest, rodent, or improper storage condition. So this results in both financial losses and food insecurity. Another important error of public distribution system, which the government of India as well as state government has to deal with efficiency, is they try to reduce the exclusion error, because it is considered to be, if you see the literature also, it is considered to be a serious problem of public distribution system, where deserving families are left out due to faulty identification processes. Many households that should qualify under the priority category fail to receive benefit because of documentation error, lack of awareness, and administrative inefficiencies. Another major issue in public distribution system is the urban bias and regional disparities, which I have already mentioned in PDS implementation. In many states in India, public distribution system function effectively in urban areas, but fails to reach, or you can say effectively reach, to remote villages and tribal regions where food insecurity is the highest. So that is why there is a need to have some kind of reforms to deal with those challenges. And those reform, along with the reform, there is a need to modernize the public distribution system. Now, to overcome those challenges, both central and state government has introduced several reforms which will expected to increase efficiency and transparency of the public distribution system. So one of the most significant steps has been the end-to-end computerization of public distribution system operations. So what it basically what they're trying to do, by linking ration card with Aadhaar, the government has been able to eliminate duplicate and fake beneficiaries. This has significantly reduced leakages and improved targeting. Another innovative measures is the government has also introduced the direct benefit transfers system, where direct benefit transfer system where instead of providing food grains, beneficiaries receive a cash subsidy directly in their bank account. So instead of providing the food grains, the cash will be transferred to the beneficiaries, and that will increase their purchasing power. So by using those cash, by using those money, or you can say using those income, they can purchase food grains from the market. So this allows beneficiaries to purchase food grains from the open market. While direct benefit transfer has been implemented or going to be implemented in some states or many states, but its nationwide implementation remains a challenge still. Another major reform which we should mention is the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme. This scheme is basically introduced in 2019. So, but the problem is that still there is a government has to need government need to do lots of initiative under this scheme, that is One Nation, One Ration Card, which was basically introduced in 2019. So this initiative allows beneficiaries, particularly the migrant workers, to access their public distribution system entitlement from any fair price shop in the country rather than being restricted to their home state. So it's a good initiative, but still, lots of progress yet to be happen, or yet to be lots of action yet to be taken by the government. Government has to be proactive to implement this innovative scheme. Another initiative is to improve transparency in the public distribution system. To improve the transparency at the last meal, many states have introduced electronic point of sale devices at fair price shop, ensuring that transactions are recorded digitally and reducing the possibility of fake activities. Now, since we have discussed the challenges, then reforms to tackle those challenges, now we are in a position to discuss the impact of public distribution system on food security in India. Does food security system succeeded to reduce poverty or hunger or malnutrition substantially or relatively? So that is why we need to discuss the impact of public distribution system. So there is no doubt that public distribution system has played a crucial role in reducing hunger and malnutrition in India by ensuring that the economically weaker section of the society have access to essential food grains. So it has helped stabilize food prices, making food affordable to lower income groups and controlling inflation to some extent. Now, if you see that during crisis kind of thing, during crisis, for example, you can give the recent crisis, that is COVID-19 pandemic. Public distribution system emerged as a lifeline for millions of families for ensuring food availability when economic activities were totally disrupted. Now, at that time, what happened? The Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana was launched during the pandemic, provided additional free rations to the poor, further highlighting the importance of a robust public distribution system. However, it is necessary to mention that public distribution system to remain effective, continuous reform and better governance are required. However, without having proper reform, without having a structured public distribution system, public distribution system may not able to attain the desired objectives. Now, in conclusion, what we can say, there is no doubt that public distribution system has been a cornerstone of India's food security system over decades, which has basically started during the Second World War. And it has changed, it has transformed from general to targeted, and it has become a legal right for the people living below the poverty line. No, while it has significantly contributed to reducing hunger and ensuring availability of essential commodities at subsidized rate, but its efficiency has been affected by corruption, leakages, and administrative inefficiencies. So going forward, government, both the central and the state, must focus on improving supply chain so that food grains can be transferred from one place to the other at a minimum cost, at a minimum time period. They need to reduce wastage. They need to develop some kind of system to eliminate corruption, and they need to ensure better targeting of beneficiaries. Now, expanding direct benefit transfers where feasible, enhancing awareness among the beneficiaries, and ensuring Greater transparency through technologically driven solution will be the key to making public distribution system more effective. That's what we can say. Public distribution system not just a food distribution mechanism, but a vital social safety net that protect the poorest citizens for hunger and malnutrition. Strengthening it further will be crucial for assuring zero hunger and ensuring food security for all people living in India. Thank you.